Hello everyone, I'm back! Welcome to Screen Scream on Viola. It really has been a long time since I last updated an episode. I stopped updating in August last year because I went to the US for about 2 weeks. When I wanted to resume the show in October, I don't know what happened, but I was just too busy to keep up the episodes. And actually, I wanted to restart in January again. But at the time, first day of the year, and there was something with my family, so I couldn't restart then. So finally, March, we're here, and hope this time it will go smoothly as before. The very first episode after I came back, I want to pick this theme: real life in the cinema. And without further ado, let's listen to the introduction of the first new movie we're going to talk about today. No Other Land. This film, made by a Palestinian-Israeli collective, shows the destruction of the occupied West Bank's Masafer Yatta by Israeli soldiers, and the alliance which develops between the Palestinian activist Basil and Israeli journalist Yuval.
هاي قصة عن القوة.
أنا اسمي باسل.
مسافر يطا هي المكان.
As we heard in the introduction, the first new movie we're going to talk about today is a Palestinian-Israeli collective. It's a documentary, and if you've been following the Oscar, you will know that No Other Land won the Best Documentary Feature this year. As I mentioned in the beginning, the theme today is real life in the cinema. So documentary is definitely a suitable topic to talk about. The background location of No Other Land is in Palestine, of course. This place has been set as a war zone since the 80s by Israeli government. And whoever lived there were defined as illegal residents. Since then, the Palestinian residents had to start their fight against the threats from the army, the harassment to force them to take down their houses. It was a long journey. As the violence of the army escalated, Basil, the Palestinian activist, and Yufa, the Israeli journalist, filmed a lot of desperation, helplessness, and depression of the residents. They started to become hesitant about recording this, like this fact that they're making this documentary. Like I mentioned, they won the Best Documentary Feature at the Oscars this year. When they went up to the stage to receive the award, they both talked to the world, hoping that the world can help stop Israel to fight against Palestinian, and hope that Palestinian in Gaza can have a fair road. And at the same time, they accused USA to stop the trees. According to Reuters, Basil Adra, the Palestinian activist, and Yuval Abraham, the Israeli journalist, they spent 5 years to finish this documentary. And you can see how the Israeli soldiers tear down houses, repel the residents so that they can build military training spaces, and how the Jewish immigrants take over the Palestinian communities. If you are interested in the history, or should I say current situation in this area, I highly recommend you to watch No Other Land. And now the next new movie we're going to talk about today is not as heavy. It's a drama. And let's listen to the introduction. The Solitary Gourmet. Goro Inogashira travels all over Japan for work. Upon receiving a message from an old friend's daughter, Goro arrives in Paris and learns of the elderly man's wish to taste a particular soup he had in his childhood before he
母が亡
died.
くなる前日本に戻った時の写真です。
さゆきとパリで暮らしたのは遠い昔の話。
The second new movie we're going to talk about today is a Japanese movie, The Solitary Gourmet. What's the relation between this movie and our theme today? I believe that everyone has to eat every day. Well, I don't necessarily eat every day. I don't like eating that much, but everyone has to eat. And I guess that's the reason why The Solitary Gourmet is so famous. It started as a TV series. It has been 13 years since it started. In the beginning, it was a manga work started in 1994, which means when the Solitary Gourmet comic started, I was just an infant. And it was turned into a TV series in 2012. Now there are 11 seasons and 12 special editions. So you can say that The Solitary Gourmet is the TV series related to gourmet in Japan that has the longest life. As we heard in the introduction, the story is about Goro, this business person who has to travel around all cities. Whenever he works hard, he would shout out loud in his mind, saying, "I'm hungry!" And then he will find the closest restaurant to eat. And he would enjoy the gourmet and the wonderfulness of the time he has after working hard. The Solitary Gourmet is just so popular that the crew decided to launch this latest movie version when the TV station that airs this TV series reaches its 60-year anniversary. So no matter it's the scale or the storytelling are totally different from the TV series. And this time, the protagonist even eats the whole world. He not only stays in Japan, but also goes to Paris in France. He also, of course, eats in Japan, goes to the Jeju Island in South Korea, and Tokyo. So if you're a big fan of The Solitary Gourmet, the latest movie version might be the best choice for you this weekend. And now it's time for us to move on to my favorite session, Top 007. And since it has been more than half year that we had a show, let's review what we had from last week first if you don't follow my weekly report. There were 2 top 3s last week, Attack on Titan the movie, The Last Attack, and Paddington in Peru. Also 2 top 2s, Flo and the Monkey. Top 1 was Captain America Brave New World. Let's listen to top 7 to top 4 first, which is not so different this week. Top 5, Attack on Titan the movie, The Last Attack. Paddington in Peru.
Paddington, there's a letter from Peru.
Dear Paddington, it's your Aunt Lucy. She's gone.
The Monkey.
Everything okay up there?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Top 4, Flo. Okay, basically these 4 movies dropped from top 3 to top 4 to top 7, but basically they're the same. And I want to talk about Flo. Again, if you've been following the Oscar, you will know that Flo just won the Best Animated Feature this year. When it comes to the Best Animation at the Oscars, people think about Disney and Pixar. Yes, they still had a nomination this year, which was Inside Out 2. But out of surprise, or should I say everyone's not surprised, that Inside Out 2 didn't get the award. Instead, it's Flo, a Latvian animation by an indie production company. Because when Flo went to all the big film festivals and when they got nominated by the Oscars, they were critically acclaimed. So I decided to watch it when it's released. But I was lucky enough to got the draw to the screening, and I loved it right after I watched it. First of all, there's no dialogue in the movie. So before I went to watch it, I thought to myself, maybe if I'm not energetic enough, I might fall asleep. But actually, it's not like that. Although there's no dialogue, the director used all the interactions between the animals to create some jokes, and just from their adorable interactions, it's very interesting. And even without dialogue, there are a lot of sounds made by the animals. They are recorded by the crew from real animals within 5 years. And the sounds of the dog and cat are actually the pets of the director. So it's very cute. I'm pretty sure it will stay on the chart the next week. So let's talk more about it in the next episode. Now let's move on to top 3 to top 1. Top 3. Let's Bread.
The thrusters have gone offline.
How many?
All of them.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Top 2. Mickey 17.
Nothing was working out, and I wanted to get off of Earth.
You're planning to be an expendable?
Yeah.
Top 1. Captain America, Brave New World.
You're not Steve Rogers. You're right. I'm not.
Okay, so except Captain America, Brave New World, all of the movies on top 3 to top 1 this week are new faces, and 2 of them are movies that I've seen myself. And today I'd like to talk about Mickey 17. I went to watch Mickey 17 on the day it was released because it starred Robert Pattinson and is directed by director Bong Joon-ho, the director of The Parasite. And actually, I liked Bong Joon-ho before he got the Oscars with The Parasite. I specifically liked his movie, The Snowpiercer. I went to watch it because it was starred by Chris Evans. But then I realized, oh, it's directed by director Bong Joon-ho and it was really good. The theme of Mickey 17 is that every life should be respected. In the movie, Mickey is an expendable, which means that he has to do all the dirty, difficult, and dangerous jobs to die again and again so that other people can live a good life. The reason why he's called Mickey 17 is because he has died 16 times. So there are a lot of dying scenes in the movie. They all have director Bong Joon-ho style, which means it has dark humor but has the real humanity at the same time. Director said that all the dying ways are different in the movies and they're all funny, but at the same time when you see that you will feel sad for Mickey. So it has to be very clever. Even Robert Pattinson agreed that it's very tricky between a horror and comedy. And this is how the director criticized companies or governments who are not compassionate towards people. The movie's based on a novel, but actually the novel's called Mickey 7. To understand the reason why director changed the number, we have to know that his previous works were usually related to criticizing inequality, dictatorship, and capitalism. So basically, the movie is similar to the novel, including the location, the basic story framework, and the time frame. But director let Mickey die 10 more times, and there are all kinds of ways that Mickey dies, because he wants us to really feel how Mickey feels when he dies. Besides the changing of 7 to 17, the antagonist in the novel was a commander who's really grumpy. And in the movie, It's a politician who's cuckoo. But actually, I think he's not only cuckoo, he's grumpy as well. This change was due to the director's decision to reflect the real dictator as well. So if you like director Bong Joon-ho's work, you can go watch Mickey 17. And this concludes the very first episode coming back. I hope I can make the following episodes on time. And please come back on the same time next week for Screen Scream. I'm Viola. See you next week.